we're here with Nick Tkaczuk. How you doing, Nick?
Very well. Yourself?
I'm doing excellent. It's Friday and it's warm.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So why don't we get started by just kind of talking a little bit about yourself and, you know, what your passions are, what you like to do, maybe even outside of your work.
My passion is my family, first and foremost. I have my kids, the relationship with my wife, the support that I could provide to them. I've got very talented children. My middle child, she's feeds us all the time by some wonderful baking that she does. Maybe one day you'll get the chance to sample it. But
Nice.
her and her dancing. My oldest, Bailey, she's a gymnast, and hopefully we'll be competing in the Big Ten as it's looking at in about 1.5 to 2 years when she's crossing that path. And my youngest is my son. He plays hockey. And that's where my fatherly responsibilities come outside of my workload, is carting him back and forth to the rink all the time.
I can understand that. I coach my boys. I've got 2 boys. I've got an 11-year-old and a 12-year-old. And if I'm not doing this kind of stuff, it's football, basketball, baseball all year round. So I can relate.
From there, fishing and hockey.
There you go. So what do you do, Nick?
I have been in business myself since I started my life with my wife way back in 1997. I kind of have an interesting story. I took all the worries and the biggest hassles people have or challenges all at one time, and I put them in one short window in my life. And I got down on my knee and officially proposed to my wife July 30th, 97. We wed August 16th, 1997, and my first of 3 children, Bailey, was born September 14th, 1997.
Nice. You don't mess around.
We got our first place in the beginning of October, and I made the decision in October 10th to trust a fat guy with a bald head from Arkansas with glasses and a goatee. And my wife, I say, made the second best decision in her life when I got the call to go to work in a full commission business when we had bills coming due in a month, and I got involved in the insurance industry, and I couldn't even spell the word at that time. 10 days later, I actually made my first application. I probably didn't know what I helped the customer with. He probably didn't know exactly what he had applied for, but he was happy, I was happy. It worked out with the insurance company, and I've built a career in the health insurance industry, and it's completely changed over the 18 years I've been in the business, from driving in the windshield time, getting paper applications signed, to now almost everything's virtually done online using a headset and working with my clients all over the country now.
Right. Yeah. So what type of insurance?
Specifically health. Actually, funny that you asked that. I have a lot of multiple line insurance agents that even my own personal multiple lines guy will send a referrals of all their people who contact them asking them for health insurance information, because they don't even want to, they want to stay away from it. It's a complete different animal, a different tail. And my sole licensing allows for a whole line of different insurances, but I focused my career on just one main area my entire professional career, and that being in the health and life side of the industry. Rather than be a jack of all trades and a master at none, I've just focused at one, and it seemed to do me just fine so far.
Excellent. So you know, what makes you tick? I mean, what gets you going about what you do or what you do outside? I mean, what?
You know, you had put a post on the web and on your site, and I haven't had a chance all the time with my responsibilities to always get a response. But what gets you going? What are your passions? Or if you have a success story? I have so many. A guy who's lost his job. He's being offered COBRA at 41 years of age for $1,100 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on the kidney pancreas transplant list at Northwestern Memorial, right? And then I get the call, and I'm able to help him with the plan that gives him 1 million doctors and 7,000 hospitals nationwide with one of a top national rated carrier. I have the ability of helping him save probably $12,000 in expenses on the year compared to what he was looking at. those are success stories that get me going and helping people protect their health and wealth. If people don't really recognize, because we take things for granted often, health is the most important thing that we have outside of maybe gratitude, I believe. I was listening to the owner of my agency talking about gratitude, maybe being even more, being grateful for what it is that you have. But as I read an article in Forbes magazine just yesterday, one of the lines in the magazine said that health insurance is one of the most expensive products people buy in their lifetime. And the reason why we buy it is to protect our health and our long-term wealth. And someone like myself or someone like you who is a self-employed or small business owner, taking the challenge of standing on your own 2 feet, waking up every day and having to answer to the man in the glass at the end of the day. Unless you're like me, I do come home and take off the pants and put on the skirt. I have a wife I answer to at the end of the day. But that's...
I won't tell anyone you wear a skirt.
We've been married for 18 years because we have a good relationship. I know my boundaries.
That's why it's been successful, right?
And it's the work ethic. Yeah, there's the grind and of any normal operation as well, but it's a work ethic that I have. And why do I have that work ethic? It's because I have a reason, I have a purpose, and that reason and my purpose is first and foremost, going back to what you asked, what's my passion? That's my family. I have a responsibility to that.
No, that's good. So, I know we talked a little bit offline of what you like to do and, how you spend your time. So we're all in the business of living our kids' lives and supporting our kids. I mean, what really, what do you enjoy doing outside of that?
Well, Blackhawks is a big part of our family's life, and spend a lot of time either, if not watching the games or at the games. I spend a lot of time out in the field, whether it be fishing. I choose that over golfing, even though the golf clubs do have a lot of lint and dust on them. I can swing the clubs, but fishing right here. I live down in Channahon, Illinois, so I'm minutes away to get out right onto the river system here, the DuPage and the Des Plaines and the Kankakee. My son and I, when we're not at hockey, which takes up much time, even because it's a 12-month year for him. He plays all year long, plus camps in the summertime. We like to spend time up in Wisconsin. Have a nice place up in the central area there, about 15 miles north of Stevens Point. My mother's had for quite many years with her husband, and it's right there on Lake Dubay, and we definitely like to spend the summer vacation up there during the summertime, and every year, and it's a memory that the kids will never forget.
Nice. So, I'm trying to create kind of an environment that just keeps people motivated, keeps people moving, puts them around people that basically doesn't let them stop. You're gonna have bad days being in business. What keeps you going? Like, what do you do to stay on top of your game?
I have a system, a cycle. I believe if you have a business system and work that system, you'll be able to get duplicable, replicable results. And when you evaluate that system, you have the ability of replacing things that aren't working with things that can work. Many people, no matter what line of business that they're in, they're going to be in some form of sales. If you're an accountant, you have to sell your services. You have to sell yourself. So I believe that there is a negative connotation for a salesperson, the used car salesperson. And for me, over my career, really understanding what I do for people and all of the thank yous over that time, I don't wake up thinking that I'm selling people. I believe in my heart. I've been trained with Zig Ziglar and other motivational speakers that I'm in the business of helping people. And if you're willing to help enough other people get what they want and need, you will have the ability of being rewarded and getting what you want and need. And I do not know where, with what I had when it was time to go to work in a professional environment where I would have picked up a JOB, a W-2 employee-employer relationship type scenario, where I would have been able to acquire the gifts or possessions that I've been able to acquire for my family and myself, and what we're able to accomplish with that, being under a W-2 employee-employer. So I'm very grateful that my mentor years ago told me, Nick, if you're going to go to work for a company in sales, you're in sales to make a commission. And if you could find a type of operation where you can develop a type residual earning, that would be even better. And I just happened to stumble across that when I found the health insurance industry.
Nice. That's excellent. Yeah, I mean, I believe in the same concepts. You know, if you're able to help people every single day, you know, whether you come up with a sale or not, it's that gratitude that comes along with it that, you know, I mean, obviously we're here to make a living, but, you know, it feels pretty dang good to be able to help somebody. And,
Oh, sure.
You know, so you got to help, to me, you got to help as many people as possible. And I agree. To be rewarded.
My wife, you know, for a good stay of 7 years, it was until she sold her business. And this was well after I went into business myself after we got married. I went straight 1099 independent contractor. That was in 97. In 2006, she opened up a 12,000 square foot gymnastics academy, had to furnish the whole thing with equipment and all that before customer one even walked in the door and signed up for classes.
Right.
You know, was able to walk away from that years down the road. That's helping kids realize their dreams. It's all, and then you do have the whole other side of the coin out there that when greed gets into the picture, and that there's never a long-term good result from that, which is why I've been able to stay away from it, and that side of the world, and be able to enjoy gratitude for what it is and how I do what I do.
That's great. So if you came across someone that was thinking about, you know, the same things that you were thinking about many years ago about taking that plunge, you know, what would you say to them?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I cross paths in that scenario every week with some of the responsibilities that I have as recruiting or growing the agency I work with. And, you know, for some people, they have to make that paradigm shift in their head from thinking of an employee or to being self-employed, that they work for themselves if they've always been in that environment. And at that same time, they create that comfort zone because maybe they have their bills being met, but can't ever get past that. But maybe has that chance to that opportunity to maybe take that step. Well, do your research of what you're getting involved with. Cross all your I's, dot all your T's. We live in a world where there is so much web information out there that if you can see information from viable sources, Better Business Bureau and ranking services that are out there, and you see a grain of salt that makes you maybe think otherwise, well, then you have to dig deeper. But do that research, and if you see a viable opportunity and you believe in your heart that you are a good fit, well, then you're going to have to, at one point, to make that leap of faith, put some pure blind faith and trust into that person who's going to mentor you, whether if it's in a fitness type opportunity, there's a network marketing opportunity or a pyramid thing. You have to have that leap of faith that that person who's going to lead you has some credibility and they can show you that, and that you have to be willing to ride on their coattails to make it happen for you. If you're going to try to dig the trench yourself and there's no duplicable, replicable system to follow, well, then you're probably going to sink real quick. But if you have a system to follow that has duplicable, replicable results, I don't care what type of business it is, and you're going to be able to generate those results for yourself. But then if you can add yourself to it, take things from the past that you can quicker and faster and better that system for you, all the better. But you're not starting from scratch when you have the right support.
That's right. It's good advice. Excellent advice.
I talk with my hands. I'm so glad from the camera here, you can't really see them too much.
Yeah, and you're not even Italian. No, I'm just kidding. But so if someone were trying to get a hold of you and they wanted to learn more about Nick, what would you tell them to do?
Well, my main contact, I'm never afraid to answer unless I'm busy, is my mobile phone always. Direct voice-to-voice contact today, I think, still, rather than text and email, those things get inundated and lost and maybe misunderstood. You can't misunderstand the passion you might hear in somebody's voice when they're speaking with you. It would be my cell phone, 708-514-4936. I can't tell you how long I've had that number. I'm on Facebook. I could be messaged there and easily found. There's not too many people out there carrying the same last name as myself.
Yeah, yes, that's true. For the record, I did ask how to pronounce it, and I should have known already, but it's good job.
Crazy as it might sound, I pronounced that Nick.
All right, so I know it hasn't been around for a long time, but what do you think about the network so far, the cooperative network?
There's a lot of people and a lot of different types of businesses that are out there, more than maybe one might realize, which is fantastic. I can sense also that for some of those members that it's a passion type business that they might have on and above what maybe that real-time job is. And, it's funny that I'm going into that type of direction. My head is always kind of tied into my what you live, what you breathe, which is my health insurance. And just the other day, I was speaking with a lady who was considering leaving her employment as a teacher because her main reason for having that employment as a teacher was to get what? Health insurance, her group coverage, because that was how she was able to get coverage. Well, now she's able to get coverage through subsidy and be able to pursue her passion, which she is as a painter, and not have to worry about working just so she could have health insurance.
Right.
There's so many types of businesses, whether it's photographers, fitness instructors, your shakes and nutritional supplement people, attorneys and accountants and such. You're seeing many more there just on your site, and it's good to see that there's people out there fighting to survive the way that they desire, rather than way somebody might dictate to them they need to.
That's right. So how do you see the group helping you most? Where can the group help you more? Like what can they give you?
Well,
or how can you help the group? I mean, whatever you're more comfortable.
That's a better way of maybe me answering that question, because in what I do, whether I'm helping somebody get benefits for themselves or their family member, I'm not one who just helps somebody get their benefits. I like to be there for them, most importantly, at the time when they need it, when they need to use it. I don't know if you've ever had to deal with calling a health insurance company when you're in the time of claims and you feel like you're calling 1-800-MORON.
Mm-hmm.
When it's 10:30 at a Sunday night, little Johnny is not breathing, and you're in Arizona visiting your cousin, and you don't have your aspirator machine for him, and you need to know what emergency room you can go to. You could dial 1-800-MORON. I guarantee you're going to get their voicemail and the message on there. You call your insurance guy who's got a cell phone and a direct number, he's going to very likely possibly be able to answer that the way I operate. I do. So it's being there to help people when they need to use it, even if I'm not their agent and they need answers. I'm just a walking encyclopedia with all the access to every carrier, every company. I've been dealing with just health insurance for 18 years. And now with this Obamacare law, it has been a whirlwind of change for people. It has made a complete change to what is happening. I'm reading an article in Forbes magazine talking about the future of employer-sponsored health insurance going the way of employer-sponsored pension plans, and that this is already happening. And once Verizon or AT&T, which has already leaked documents on it, starts that, it'll be a snowball effect for all of the others. And when it comes down time to it, the most important thing that people need to understand is having access to the doctors and hospitals you want to go and see, rather than being told where you have to go. I say it all the time, if my kid breaks their arm, I can take them to any local emergency room. They deal with that all the time. But if it's a bad break and they need to put a rod and a pin between the arm in their surgery, personally myself, for my daughter, she's a gymnast that's very high caliber. I'm not going to have just the average ortho who's on call come in to do that. I'll have them stabilize her. We live in greater Chicagoland area. DuPage County has one of the best orthopedic pediatric doctors in the nation. I'm going to go there and know that my plan allows me to go there and not have to be told I maybe have to drive 3 hours to see a doctor from a third world country.
Right.
So there's an understanding of that needs to be on the front side, because when that claim happens, I always look at it as, hey, I want to be able to answer the call if and when you need to call for help. And I don't want to be afraid to answer that call because you were in the wrong program. So I do the right thing in helping people. And yes, that's how I'm rewarded by the commissioned by the insurance companies. There's no extra cost to the agent for the clients, so it's like a pro bono service I'm able to provide for them, but it's ongoing. So yeah, references and referrals, that's always been the lifeblood of my business, but also in helping people that maybe want to make that change in their life and see of an avenue that this would be a viable opportunity for them. Our company is growing by leaps and bounds, and it's been a wild ride so far, and it's only continuing to get much wilder as the time progresses with what's going on due to this reform change.
Yeah. Okay, Nick. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today and sharing a little background information on you. And
thanks for having me, Jeff.
All the excellent work that you're doing in your company, and we hope that we're able to, to help make more connections and hopefully, get people covered, throughout Chicago.
I'm not even posting or broadcasting the name of the agency that I work with unless you're able to read the logo on my shirt. I just gave my cell phone number and told you how to find me on Facebook if need. Sure, we have websites and that, but that's not the purpose of what our meeting was for, and I really appreciate you having me here. If I could be of help to anybody and answering any questions in their own personal regard, find a way to contact me. Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Excellent. Yeah. Take care.
Thank you.